The lack of nuance is killing game discourse.
Down for a different kind of video today where we're going in raw. It's just going to be me talking to you because I'm really frustrated about where we are in gaming and particularly gaming discourse. And I'm frustrated at how difficult it's become to just talk about video games.
It's not just difficult to talk about video games. It's difficult to talk about anything. Because everybody is looking for an excuse to get angry at the dumbest shit possible. It's insane. And the worst thing is that people want to live in delusion in their happy-go-lucky merry-go-round world where they're treated like shit, but they just want to pretend that things are fine because everything else in their life sucks. The election was a joke. Talking about the state of video games is a joke. And the worst thing is that everybody thinks constructive criticism is a toxic attack on their happiness and everything that they stand for as a human being. It is a joke. Thank you to Lord of Nazarick for sponsoring today's video. Based on the anime Overlord, this officially licensed mobile game has officially launched. That means you can click the link below or scan the QR code to download and play for free today. In this game, you can immerse yourself in a fantasy world and engage in epic battles as you play as the Supreme Overlord of Isekai and fight alongside the Guardians. The game has amazing characters. You can recruit over 50 characters from the anime, including Guardians and more. With updates, more characters will be unlocked over time as well. To fight with the best strategy, you can build a party with your favorite characters. You can choose between 5 classes and 3 unique attributes to become unstoppable. Play with friends in co-op or take an enemy players in PvP. The choice is yours. Beyond the story, you can also take on roguelike dungeons, boss challenges, minigames, and more. More of a casual player? Take your time and enjoy the stunning 3D visuals of the game by wandering the world and visiting familiar locations from the anime, such as Tomb of Nazarick, Karna Village, and E-Rantle. In Lord of Nazarick, it's time to write your own destiny. Don't forget you can download Lord of Nazarick today. Just hit the link in the description or scan the QR code.
Something that I'm really passionate about and something that I know a lot of you are really passionate about, and I enjoy talking about my passion, and I'm sure most of you do too. And there's a lot of bullshit that's happening with video games right now. There's a lot of activists getting into the industry. And I think the reason for that is because the industry is, it's so popular. And with that...
No, it's because the reason why a lot of activists are getting into the video game industry is because currently Twitter is a cesspool of aggressively progressive people that think they're doing the right things by being inclusive. But in reality, they're doing this revisionist history to fit their agenda on wanting every race to be a part of everything, even though those races weren't a part of what they were trying to reenact. It's like if you were to remake a video game about World War I, but you wanted to empower females, so you made all of the people in it black women, but it's like, they weren't in World War I. Like World War I was majorly fought by white dudes. Right? For at least from the American side, right? But it's like these people want to pretend that like, oh yeah, there was 50-50 men and women. It's like that just didn't fucking happen. It didn't.
Popularity comes attention, and with that attention comes power and opportunity for propaganda and to, you know, spread your message and all this other bullshit. You know what I'm talking about, and I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, World War I of the 1500s. That's right.
And so you've seen a lot of people, a lot of us, stand up and call it out. Stand up and say, hey, like, why are you shoving this, like, social activism? Why are you shoving your personal politics? Why are you shoving your morality and your censorship into, like, my video games?
Because people think that Twitter actually matters when it fucking doesn't. And the election is a surefire sign of that. Okay, normal video gamers don't care about how much representation they have in a fucking video game. They just want the game to be good. But the problem is Twitter really wants to make you think that we all need this over-representation to a point of where it's fraudulent. Nobody fucking cares about the inclusivity of fucking video games. They just want the game to be good, and that's it.
Like, this is what I do.
Dragon Age Veilguard's another great example of that.
Get away from the world. I play video games to get away from stress.
True.
And so when you see in your game where you're trying, it's escapism. And when you escape to the video game just to have somebody say, hey, how do you feel about pronouns? Are you a bigot? When you have that kind of rhetoric and that kind of messaging, and when you have writers and characters in the game that are clearly propped up on soapboxes. It ruins the immersion. It ruins the escapism.
It does.
It takes you right out of the video game and it sits you down right into like some Twitter brain rot discourse.
True.
That I think people are getting sick of.
Been sick of.
People are getting sick of it. And I know that I am. And it was one thing years ago when I saw these kind of interactions and this kind of discourse around video games, and it was only online. It was only on like Facebook, or it was only on Twitter back in the day, but you didn't see it in real life. Like you just saw it on the internet and you were like, what's wrong with these people? You know? But now it's gotten to the point where like it's in real life. Like half the time when I go to the GameStop in my town and I'm looking at games, if Assassin's Creed Shadows comes up, or the new Ghost of Tsushima having a female protagonist, like when this stuff comes up, or like we discuss these games like in a general way, if it comes up for any reason, now I always find myself in a situation where I'm having to discuss these topics with a person face to face, or it's weaving its way into real conversations where I don't really want it. Like I'll be honest with you, like I don't mind it, but I grew up.
Yesterday night I went to Baskin Robbins. I got back from the, got back from the gym. I was with Sophia and I think Laurel. And I went there because Sophia really wanted the brownie ice cream. And I'm a talker. I talk to people out in the world. I'm always looking for anybody to strike conversation with. I love meeting new people. And there was about 4 employees, okay? And I just asked them, thoughts on the world, thoughts on the election, thoughts about hot topics. Now, the one white girl, and this was so apropos, the one white girl working there who was glued to her phone had so much to say about politics, had so much to say about, gender equality and this, that, and the other, about hot topic, controversial topics on the internet. All 3 of the dudes, I shit you not, just said, oh, I don't care, I just like trucks. Yeah, I want a big truck. Thinking about getting that Cybertruck or maybe a Ford F-150. And the thing is, that's just the world, man. Like, people really don't fucking give a shit about all these things that people on the internet pretend to give a shit about to seem like a good person. And that's all it is. People say, I hate politics. Guys, streaming is politics. The majority of streamers that go live, the majority of people who just post shit on the internet, they're not saying that shit because they think it. They're saying it because they think that's what you want to hear. And when you start getting involved with streamers who just say the shit they think that people want to hear, you're encouraging people to just essentially worship cardboard cutouts, soulless individuals. Say the name. I would love to say the name, but unfortunately, it's more of a majority issue than a minority issue. I would sit here for hours saying every name of streamers that are just like this. It's a joke.
I grew up with this mentality that like when you go to the bar, or when you go out, just in public in general, you leave your politics at home. There's no good that's going to come from dragging your politics and your activism or whatever into a social setting with a bunch of people that are really just trying to chill out. It I think like pollutes the sense of community that you feel in public with people when that kind of shit gets brought in. So I grew up with that mentality that you just, you check that shit at the door and then you just enjoy.
Yeah, eventually I'll release the Tectone list of all the names.
And
I'll start writing it today, guys.
Line being
and we'll drop a Google Doc.
Like more and more in real life. And I see like this stuff coming up, and it's like these battle lines are starting to get drawn in real life. It's not just like brain rot on the internet anymore. It's affecting opportunities. I have people that won't work with me as a YouTuber or a streamer because of opinions that I have about Dragon Age the Veilguard.
True.
Because of a tweet I liked about some bullshit with The Last of Us Part 2 or something. And I have people that genuinely are just like, it happens every time I put out a video.
Guys, I lost 1.8 thousand followers for tweeting about Donald Trump not being a rapist yesterday. Yep, insane.
On Dragon Age the Veilguard, and I'm sorry for like being so like emotional or whatever about this, but I've been feeling this way for a long time, and I've wanted to talk about it for a long time, and I don't have a script, so if I bounce all over the place, I'm sorry, but
neither do I. It's all good.
I'm just so frustrated that we can't just talk about our video games. Every time I put out a video on Dragon Age the Veilguard, I have to deal with this. You know, I'm either not mean enough to the game or I'm not nice enough to the game. It's like the Super Bowl. It's like sports. It's like a competition, and it's two teams. Pick your side. Are you red or are you blue? Put your jersey on, and then you go to war, and all the nuance and all of like the real conversation that could lead to some sort of resolution gets thrown out the window. And then anybody...
And the best thing is, if you say that you agree with one of the points of that side, then that means you're full that side extremist. Because people don't understand there's a middle ground. There's nuance to it, where you can believe a little bit in both sides, right? You can believe a little bit of both sides, but no. Everybody wants to label you and put you in a box and say you're either with us or you're against us. They don't understand the middle ground.
Anybody who tries to bring the gray back into the spectrum of the conversation gets called a cuck or gets called a fence sitter or whatever. It's just never enough. You're either never left enough or you're never right enough, you know?
True.
If I say...
Now, I would like to admit, there are people who just are fence sitters. I don't think that people are called fence sitters by not being that side enough. I think there are people who are just like, well, it could go either way and don't win. Those are generally people who are called fence sitters or, yeah.
Something negative about Dragon Age the Veilguard, even if I'm criticizing a game mechanic, somehow I'm like an alt-right grifter that hates LGBT, whatever. And then if I praise the game, if I say I see some stuff I really like, maybe it could be good. Like maybe it could overcome some of the things I don't like. Maybe I could end up liking this game. Well, then all of a sudden I'm part of the problem, and I'm supporting the toxic activism in the community that's subverting the quality of the product that we're paying money for.
True.
And it's just, I just feel like when I know that I'm not grifting and I know that I am only making this video or doing this reaction or talking about Dragon Age because I genuinely care about it, and all I want to do is just have a discussion about it, the good, the bad, the things I like, the things I don't like, and then have conversations. That's what I miss about YouTube, man. Maybe I'm wrong, you know, because I wasn't really heavy on YouTube until...
No, you're not wrong. We live in a society where it doesn't matter what you did. It doesn't matter what you said. It only matters what people think you said and what people think you did. There are hundreds, if not thousands of content creators who have been labeled this or that couldn't be further from the labels they have just because that's the perception that people want to have of them. They want to be able to identify every single creator as this one specific thing, and they'll never get out of that bubble. Oh, this guy's the idiot. Oh, this guy's the racist. Oh, this guy's the cock. Oh, okay, that's their person. Oh, this is the good one. This is the good guy. We like this guy. Oh, and yeah, this guy has people who suck around them. So anybody who's around them, oh, they're the leech. They're the leech. You know, it's just like it's just label culture, man. It's people don't understand nuance.
About like 8 years ago, but I feel like there was a time when
this guy's the bald guy.
A video and it would like provoke conversation, and then when you would go into the comments,
I've heard this and that on Twitter, so it must be true.
Having
True.
Conversations about
it's
the
always
topic,
like that. I
and
know.
It would be interesting.
It's annoying
to
as
read.
fuck.
And now that's fucking gone. We're losing it. And I feel like that was a really important part of YouTube, and I feel like we're fucking losing it. Like when I see Luke Stevens or Asmongold or anybody post a video about, you know, a video game, anything, the least controversial topic, it doesn't matter. You go down there and it's just the comments are just bots and then like just the most toxic. It's Twitter now.
Oh, yeah.
The YouTube comments are looking more and more like Twitter. It's OnlyFans
Oh, yeah.
promotion and bots, and then just the most toxic, brain dead fucking people.
Oh, yeah.
And then the worst opinions a lot of the time, not all the time. Maybe I'm overly focusing on the negative, but a lot of the time it's like the most brain dead ass comments get liked or upvoted or whatever the most. And it just makes me feel fucking insane.
True.
That's probably because normal people, they don't really comment that much on YouTube videos. They might like it, they might give it a like or a dislike, they move on, and then as a creator, I get the analytics, I see the retention, and then I can get an idea of what like actual people think. But I don't know, man. I'm frustrated with how hard it is.
Here's also a fun fact that save you guys some money. Any of these OnlyFans girls that have to bot their likes in your comments or have to comment underneath every Tectone or Asmongold or NMP post, all of their OnlyFans are mid, because if it was good, they would get viewers regardless. They wouldn't have to do all this aggressive ass marketing. Legit, I would know because I've bought them all just to check. And they're all bad. Legit. All of their pussies look fucking disgusting. Looks like that shit's been ran through by 30 fucking dudes in 8 blenders. Yeah, that shit is fucking horrifying, bro. You couldn't tell the difference between that shit and a fucking XXL Arby's triple stack. That shit is fucking foul, bro. You know that shit is stanky as fuck. That shit has got like a necrotic aura like Death and Decay from World of Warcraft. You can smell that shit before you see it. Fucking foul, brother. And their head game is weak. I'll just say it.
To just have simple conversations. Like, everything is so controversial, even if it's not. Even if it's objectively not controversial. You know, like, if you have a character, like, I think there's a line in the new Dragon Age the Veilguard where the Kunari character is saying, like, you know what, I don't want to be called she anymore, I'm a they now, or whatever. And it's just, it feels so fucking out of place. Now, I haven't played the game yet. I'm still planning to play the game. I want to see how good or bad it really is.
Bro is too hung up on YouTube comments, IMO. Just hide them from your upload. They don't exist anymore. It's not going to change. So here's the thing. New breeds of these retards are constantly spawning in. And the reason why it's an issue, the reason why you have to deal with your YouTube comments is because if you don't, it's essentially there's advertisements underneath every single one of your videos to not continue watching your videos. And so when people are worried about their YouTube comments, it's perfectly rational. And it's also bad, right? Like if somebody watches somebody's YouTube comments and they see all these cringe ass dumb fucks in their comments saying, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that. Well, then that's even worse PR for their channel, because then they think, oh, this is this guy's community. No thanks, I'm out. It's a joke.
I just, after covering it,
why not disable them? Because feedback on videos are important. You just want the right type of feedback from the right people.
I'm not holding back or pulling punches with how I feel about what I'm seeing, but I am willing to play the game and then really know. You know what I'm saying? But when I see lines of dialogue, and I'm sure you've seen if you follow Dragon Age the Veilguard, I'm sure, because there's been like a million fucking videos on it in the past 24 hours. I'm sure you've seen the clip I'm talking about. And I'm looking at it as a fan of the franchise and as a gamer, and I'm looking at it and I'm just like, this fucking does not belong. Like, what is this writing? This is like some weird self-insert shit.
Yeah, it was weird as fuck.
What it looks like. I could be wrong, not having the full context. I'm gonna try and go and get it if I can get through the game. I'm gonna go get it. But
nah, I'm good.
Where I'm sitting right now, I'm looking at it and I'm like, this shit does not belong in the game. Why is it here? Like, what? Like,
it's in there because developers think that people want it in there, but in reality, they don't understand that it's just a very, very, very loud minority screaming over everybody else. I feel like immersion is very important to keep in your games, like especially for a game like Dragon Age. Like, it's very important to keep the immersion. People play that game to forget about the problems of the real world. We don't need to remind this shit.
The reason why, and then of course when I point that out, you know, I'm a bigot or I'm one of them and all these other weird ass fucking comments that I read. The reason why stuff like this has become such a talking point, you know, you saw it around Concord. You saw it around, what was that game? Dustborn. You see it around Dragon Age the Veilguard with like social activism and stuff like that being put in the game. A lot of like, you know, gay and trans issues and, you know, minority issues or whatever term, right, is put in the game, and it becomes kind of a focus in the game. The reason why it's such a talking point for people like me, and I think a lot of people, is because more often than not, it seems like when these themes are put into games and explored in games, it comes at the expense of the quality of the game that I'm paying my fucking hard-earned money for.
Absolutely.
That's the only reason. Like, it's only because it seems like there's a direct relation between developers that choose to focus on this and then shitty quality, bad writing. Like,
I don't play a video game to forget about the retards on Twitter to be reminded of them the moment I boot up a game.
If you want to explore sexuality and mature themes and, you know, political this and social that, if you want to explore those themes in your game, I don't have a problem with that. If you want to have a gay character, you can have the whole cast fucking gay, bro. I don't give a shit. I will still play the game if it's good.
True.
If it's good, all I worry about is the quality. That's all I care about. And when I see this stuff in games, I wonder to myself, because I've seen it, there's been so many examples back to back to back to back to back for multiple years now. When I see it, I wonder to myself, did you focus on this?
By the way, if you guys want an anime or manga recommendation that tackles being gay, that's not thrown in your face,
and when you
watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventures.
Mature themes, they're complex.
The gayest show on earth that you didn't even realize was gay.
You're putting them in your game. If you're going to do that, it has to be done with a certain degree of like reverence for the topic, respect for the topic that you're exploring, a certain amount of talent. You have to have real talent to write about these themes and insert these themes into your game and do it well and do it in a respectful way that doesn't like negatively affect the game. And that, like, one of the biggest issues that I have about it is that it feels like the people that insert this into the game, they assume we're fucking stupid.
True.
And they feel like when they write these characters and when they put this in games and trailers and stuff, they have to get up on a soapbox and like talk down to you like trans people should be treated with respect. Like they have to fucking scream it in your face because you're...
So what soapboxing means is that back in like, I think this was like the early 1900s, I think. Maybe late 1800s, maybe. I'm probably bad timeline-wise. These people would go onto like town squares and stand on soapboxes and like preach their gospel, right? So that's what he means by like soapboxing.
You're too stupid to understand it otherwise.
Women should have rights. Yeah, we get it, man.
Attempt a lot of times to actually fit it into the game, to actually insert it into the game in a way that makes sense and is cohesive and is like good. Like it's like genuinely good. Like Parvati, you look at her in the Outer Worlds, and she was done so well. I think she was an asexual character. She's like one of your party members, and she develops kind of a crush on another girl or whatever, and you're trying to wingman for her. You're giving her advice on how to talk to this other girl that she has a crush on, and you're giving her advice on like how to deal with like her, you know, being asexual and stuff. And it's just written so well, and she's such a likable character, and she brings more to the table.
Yeah, it's all in the delivery.
Like her sexual identity. She's a fleshed out character that's likable and you're rooting for her, and when the romance works out, you're like, as a player, I was like, hell yeah,
when it's done well, it's done well.
I don't mind any
Imagine
of
that
this stuff like DEI and, you know, the main character's black or gay or I don't give a shit, or a woman. I don't care. I was upset.
Are you hopping on the Tate train and going to preach hateful shit like Aiden Ross? I love when people come into my chat like this where they say, oh, you don't like immersion-breaking video game mechanics? Oh, that's because you're racist. Oh, that's because you're a bigot. That's because you're transphobic. No, man. I just want my games to not have cringe-ass dialogue, and I want to be able to play this shit that I fucking enjoy without being told that I'm a horrible person for not enjoying immersion-breaking dialogue. It's really not that difficult.
About Ghost of Yotai, and then I had to deal with some backlash over that. But it was only because I wasn't ready to say goodbye to Jin. I was like, oh, fuck, I'm gonna, like, fuck, you know, like, it just hit me out of nowhere. I thought there was gonna be another, like, story with Jin Sakai, and then we got a new character. It didn't matter that the new character was a woman. It just wasn't Jin, and I was like, oh, fuck, like, I wasn't ready to say goodbye. I loved Ghost of Tsushima so much. Like, I have such a genuine, like, love for that game. I just think they did so many things so well in it.
Nah, you didn't want the female character because you're sexist.
Story was brilliant. And it's like, fuck, you know, but I'm fine with the new game and I'm excited to play it. But then immediately, the conversation is no longer about how good Ghost of Tsushima was. The conversation is not about how likable and well-written Jin Sakai was, or, you know, curiosities about what this new story is going to be and who this new character is. I'm not seeing any of like this genuine, like really good, interesting conversation that I can interact with on social media or any of this shit. It's just immediately like bigotry, sexism, gamer chuds, and incels mad that they're not getting another male protagonist. It's just the same grifting bullshit. And I'm just so...
People aren't going to look at what you said. They're going to look for how they can make it sound like you said something they wanted you to say to paint you as a bigot, as a transphobe, as a homophobe. It's psychotic. It's like, for example, if I were to go to a restaurant and order a chicken sandwich, right? And I were to eat it, and I'm wearing a MAGA hat. I don't like it. I send it back. I wouldn't be shocked if the waiter came up and said, "Oh, you didn't like this sandwich because it was made by a woman, huh?" Bitch, I didn't even know. I just know this shit burnt as fuck. Like, these people aren't going to look at reality. They're going to look at their perceptions of reality and paint you in accordance to it.
Oh, fucking tired of it. And it becomes so difficult for me because these fucking algorithms reward it so much. Like, I know if I went like harder, if I leaned into it more with like titles and thumbnails, and I know that if I went, if I chose like a harder angle from the left or a harder angle from the right when I discuss these topics, I will be rewarded with like views and subs, and I want that. I want that. I've been making content for 4 years. I'm only at 8,000 subs. Like I on my streaming channel. Oh, this is a new channel that I just started.
So my whole perspective is I don't really have that many strong beliefs, but I do know what is stupid and what's not stupid. And so for things that are stupid, I am very hard against. Like, very hard against things that I deem stupid or unproductive for society or a general hindrance on my life. And me taking strong positions against certain people with certain beliefs sometimes confuse me for, oh, Tectone's a extremist alt-right Tate worshiper grifter. It's like, shut the fuck up, man.
So it's, you know, it's still a baby channel at like 500 subs. But I would like growth. I would like views. I
just want to live in a reality where if I accidentally mislabel someone according to their pronouns, that I don't have to worry about being fined or having my career ruined on the internet over an accident, right? Because there's a big difference between accidents and intentions. And that's the big difference. If you are intentionally putting someone down, it's never a good thing. If someone has their career ruined over an accident, that's also a horrific fucking thing.
I would just like the opportunity for my video to be seen, and then people can reject it or accept it, like it, dislike it. I just want to be out there and a part of the conversation, but I don't want to have to do that to get there. But these algorithms reward it, and I feel like, honestly, to a degree, we reward it. And I do think that there's a certain amount of like self-reflection we
depends
have
on if
to
an accident harms someone, to be fair.
Has to fucking go. Like, I don't know if it's even possible to get rid of it, but we have to stop.
I think there's a big difference between name calling and like actually causing physical abuse. I think it's very hard to accidentally cause someone harm with words.
I can't tell you how many times I have seen somebody put
and if you're accidentally caused that much harm with words, I think you're just far too sensitive.
Like the female protagonist with Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotai, or, you know, the stuff with Concord. Like, you can tell. I don't know how easily it is. I don't know how easy it is for other people to tell, but when I look at it, I can tell who's trying to have a genuine conversation about what's going on with the game, why this works, why this doesn't, like, you know, the mistakes that were made, maybe how it could be rectified. I can tell the difference between that and somebody that's, you know, just going up there and making their video to either shit on it blindly and in an incendiary way, just lobbing insults at people that like the game, lobbing insults directly at the director, personal insults at the writer, naming them and shit like this. It's like, You're only
You cause
making it
harm to someone,
worse,
whether it's
and
with
you're
words or actions,
doing
it's
it
gonna fall back on you sooner or
intentionally
later. It's
for
called conflict,
fucking
and we don't get it.
revenue, for ad revenue and growth. And you know, maybe I just don't understand the game. You know, maybe I'm just not
Depends if
built
it's
for this
intentional
or
or not.
whatever the fuck, but I am so sick of it. And I just feel like we've got to stop rewarding those motherfuckers. We've got to stop. Like, when we see that behavior, we have to start rejecting grifters and start clicking on videos and supporting creators that are at least trying to have a real fucking conversation. And I do think that a lot of people feel the same way I do. And
Sure, I also agree. I think there's far too many people who go on Twitter, see the discourse, and then mindlessly repeat what they saw on Twitter and pretend that that's their personality. And we saw a lot of that with Genshin Impact. Not to make it about Genshin Impact again, but a lot of horrible things happened during that time period. You know, if somebody has a slightly lighter shade of skin, oh, they're trying to whitewash them. Oh, if there's a Mexican country and not everybody's Mexican, oh, it's because the company's racist. No, the company isn't racist because of the way they made their video games. They're racist because it's China. That's going to be a social credit deduction. But we all know that China, if they think that the lighter the skin, the more beautiful. It's been that way for years, man. Been that way for years.
a lot of people are starting to express these same sentiments. So I just wanted to make this video and tell you how I've been feeling and what I've been going through. And I'm sorry that it's I'm sorry that I've got like this crazy crackhead energy, and I'm sorry that I'm like bouncing all over the place and rambling.
Are
I
you?
didn't write down any bullet points or anything.
Were you?
I just felt like I had this elephant sitting on my shoulder just weighing me down, man, and it's stressing me out.
Because he's a Republican.
And
He said elephant because he's a Republican. He's self-reported because he's hard right. Because he's a hard right extremist. I fucking knew it. He self-reported. It was a Freudian slip. I caught his ass in 4K. Somebody get this man's ass. Somebody get him.
All I want to do is just talk about games, that I love. And the only reason I give attention to negative things, the only reason I give attention to negative things like Concord or fucking, Dragon Age the Veil Guard, and I'm not perfect. I know that there's definitely been videos I've made where I leaned into grifting, and then I would watch my video back later. I'd revisit it, or I'd read the comments, and I would think to myself, like, damn, I wish I would have worded that differently.
Okay, we get it. Here's my thing, and I'm going to Google this word, grifting definition. The fuck? I hear that word said all the time. What is a grifter? Someone who swindles people out of money through fraud. A grifter is a person who pretends to hold certain, often political views in order to gain money or other benefits. Oh, okay, so if anybody has different political views than you, it's because they're a grifter? Oh, so is this the new term that the internet's going to throw around anytime they say anything? Oh, this guy believes this and it's different than me? Oh, he's a grifter. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, what a great video. What a retarded world we live in. Anyways, great vid. Go subscribe to the man. Like, comment, subscribe to me. See you on the next one. Peace. The world is fucking dumb.